He was rejected by friends, by family, by the world he thought would believe in him. They laughed at his dreams. They told him he was too small, too late, too crazy. And for a moment, it cut deep. Rejection hurts. It always does. But instead of breaking him, it built him. Every rejection became fire. Every laugh became fuel. Every doubt became proof that he had something worth fighting for. Most people, when they are rejected, they fold. They say, maybe they're right. They trade their vision for comfort, their future for acceptance, but not him. Rejection didn't weaken him, it sharpened him.
Your dreams and thoughts better be so big that they better scare you. They better scare you.
Why?
Because you're not thinking big enough then. You don't want it. It has to be something that nobody else has thought about before or done before. The process it takes to be number one and stay at number one, you have no idea.
Every closed door pushed him to kick harder. Every no forced him to create his own path. Every wall built against him became the very thing he climbed over. Because the truth is simple. Rejection is not the end. It is the test. It asks, do you want it bad enough? Are you willing to suffer for it? Will you keep going when nobody believes in you? And he answered with his life. He worked when others slept. He studied when others partied. He sacrificed when others chose comfort. Rejection became the very reason he fought harder, not because he wanted to prove them wrong, but because he needed to prove himself right. The world will reject you. It will tell you that you're not ready, not talented, not enough. But rejection is not your enemy. It's your advantage. Because once you learn to turn pain into power, there is nothing left to fear. He was rejected, and that is why he became relentless. He was doubted, and that is why he became unstoppable. He was underestimated, and that is why he became a force no one could ignore. So the next time you're rejected, remember this. It's not the end, it's the beginning. It's the chance to fight harder, to push deeper, to rise higher. Because rejection doesn't kill champions, it creates them. No mercy.
You have an idea because you've been there. Everybody wants to sit in your seat until they have to sit in your seat. Very few people understand what winning and success does to an individual's mental health. Everybody thinks the more you win, the more successful you are. It just makes everything so much easier. And they don't understand the pressures that these individuals put on themselves.
The world doesn't care. No, really, it doesn't. It doesn't care how much you've suffered. It doesn't care how many tears you've cried. It doesn't care about your excuses, your background, your struggles. You can scream until your throat is raw, and the world will stay silent. And at first, that truth hurts. It feels unfair. It feels heavy. You want someone to notice, someone to help, someone to save you, but nobody is coming. The world will watch you fail and keep moving. The world will see you fall to your knees and look the other way. The world will bury your story under 1,000 others because to the world, you are not special. And as heartbreaking as that is, it's also your greatest gift. Because if the world doesn't care, then your life is entirely in your hands. Success is your responsibility.
Just a weird champion who's not like that, but I still am full of doubt all the time. And I've tried to find ways to believe I wouldn't have doubt. You know, I've tried to talk in ways where I don't have doubt. I've tried to everything, and there's always just lingering doubt in my mind of being like, well, what if you don't? What if you can't?
Happiness is your responsibility. Becoming something more is your responsibility. No one will do it for you. No one will carry your weight. No one will fight your battles. It's you, always you. And that's the power. The world doesn't owe you anything, and which means you owe yourself everything. If you want success, you build it. If you want respect, you earn it. If you want change, you create it with your own hands. So stop waiting for someone to see your pain. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for a rescue that will never come. The world doesn't care. But you should.
And it's just the truth of my mind. And regardless of that, over the past 5 years, I've still been able to perform, progress, and be the best in the world with that on my mind. So who's to say that I can't have that dead on my mind while being a champion? There's no rules to it. That's why I've always said the champion mentality, the rules of being a champion, is that there are no rules. It's just whatever the champion does to win. That's it.
Care enough to fight for your dream. Care enough to rise every time you fall. Care enough to take full ownership of your story. Because the ones who win in this life are not the ones who were handed a chance. They are the ones who stood up alone when no one believed and kept walking anyway. The world doesn't care, and maybe that breaks your heart. But if you let it fuel you, if you let it ignite you, then one day the world will have no choice but to notice.
We're not men because we face the battle and we get immediately victory every time a battle comes up. We're men because we face the battle and we stay in the battle when we feel like we're losing and we feel like we're getting beat up. But we stay in there and we keep fighting and we plant our feet and we say, until death do our part. This is me, and I will fight.
This magic pill, they want to know the secret, but there is no secret. It's just hard work. But I think the thing that everyone who's listening lacks is the context on how hard work is, not in that it's complex, but just in that it's a continuous and unending focus on one thing and noticing the details that separate mediocrity from greatness. And if you're like, I don't know what the difference between those two things is, that is the opportunity that hard work reveals.
Regardless of what the battle is. Being tired is part of fighting. Go find one MMA fighter, one boxer, one combatant of any kind who's never tired, who never gets tired, who doesn't get so exhausted in the ring that he's just moving on guts alone. That's all he's got left is his guts. All they have left is the will to get back up again.
The person who is left alone knows a kind of silence most people will never hear. A silence so heavy it feels alive, pressing down on every thought, every breath, every beat of the heart. When you are left alone, the nights are longer, the walls close in, the weight of rejection, betrayal, abandonment, it crushes you until you start to wonder if you even matter at all. And maybe that's the point. Because in that darkness, there is no applause, no helping hand, no safety net. There is only you. Most people never survive that chapter. They escape into distraction. They beg to be saved. They cling to comfort. But the one who is left alone and stays and fights, that person becomes something else entirely.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that it's possible because you can create your reality. The perception that you have of the world, if you think there's only scarcity, there's no opportunity, that's how you are going to interact with reality. If you think that there's abundance, if you think that there's opportunity, then these things will manifest themselves to you. So you have to believe that you can, right? And the way that you believe, the way that you can get to that state, because a lot of people are like, I have a lot of doubt. So do I. I have it all the time. Even at these levels, right? You're doing 7-figure months. Dude, there's people doing 8-figure months. That's hard to fathom. That's hard to imagine. Yeah. But it's still possible. Yeah, is it difficult? Absolutely. But it's a mindset shift.
Because once you have carried the silence, you no longer fear it. Once you've stood in the dark with nothing, you realize you are capable of everything. Alone, you find the truth. You never needed them. You never needed approval. You never needed permission. You needed the pain. You needed the heartbreak. You needed the isolation because it stripped you down to the core and showed you who you really are. The person who is left alone is not weak. They are forged. They are sharpened. They are reborn. And when the world finally sees them again, they won't recognize what they left behind because the person who walked out of the dark is unstoppable.
Listen up. Every month, you have a chance to win $100. All you have to do is subscribe, like, and share this video with at least 5 friends, and I'll pick a random winner. See you in the next one.